Yo, what's up guys? It's Powerbang and welcome back to another PUBG video. Before we get into these God mode settings that are gonna make you an amazing player, I want you guys to meet me in Pachinki. Well, what do I mean? We're gonna be playing squads with subs tomorrow night on my live stream. We're gonna be going at 7 o'clock Pacific time in the evening. 7 p.m. Pacific, we're gonna be playing squads with subs. Make sure you guys are following my stream over on Facebook, link at the top of the page as well as in the description, and also join my Discord server because that's where I'm gonna be pulling you guys from in order to get into the squad so we can go get that chicken dinner. Anybody getting an MVP on the stream, I'm gonna be rocking a gift card your way. So make sure you guys are squadding up with PB, get to the Discord, get to the stream. Let's go ahead, check out today's video where we start off with a clutch moment from earlier today. Nice. 3 alive. Out of grenades. Where's this guy? Oh my God. Where is he? Whoa! Man, crazy one. Let's go ahead, get into today's video. You guys gotta witness in an unlikely chicken dinner there. We're gonna start the video with the chicken dinner and see where we end up in an entirely new game. Welcome to today's PUBG show, Banger Nation. Thank you guys for all the new love on the channel. Welcome to any of you guys that are new, and subscribe if you're new here. We've got amazing lit PUBG content. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, boys and girls, you guys have heavily requested information on my settings, my sensitivity, my device, my frame rate, my hacks. Wait, what? No, you guys think I'm playing on PC or something? I don't know, controller. This is the setup, if I can pull it out here, that I play from. This is an iPhone 10. You can tell by the resolution on the screen, it doesn't fill up the whole screen. You see how that works? 1920 by 886. It's kind of one of those wider screen resolutions. The iPhone 10 is the only phone or device that I know of that has that resolution. 1920 by 886. And as you can see, all of my videos, I have this little bar at the bottom. That would be blank anyways if my face cam and all that weren't in the game. So I have it connected to an HDMI adapter. This is a lightning cable to HDMI adapter. The lightning cable, so it gets the signal from my phone. It goes into the adapter, which I have a charger cable plugged into it, and I also have an HDMI cable. So those two things are what is able to help me record the content that you guys watch. So there you go. That's the setup. iPhone 10, I play with my hands. I will shoot a video sometime soon. I've got to like mount this camera, and I'll probably just buy another webcam altogether. You guys are costing me money. But I'll record my hands as I'm playing. I get a lot of chicken dinners, and I don't use any sort of aid. I just play on my phone. That's pretty much it. So let's hop into the settings, guys. Let's go over to the cog top right. Here is the basic setup. I prefer the yellow crosshair because I'm not a fan of the white. There's a lot of white little glitches and stuff in the game, like seams where the different map textures run together. I feel like that's a little bit distracting at times, so I don't prefer the white. Now, this is all personal preference. A lot of you guys like a really prominent crosshair, something that you can really see, and if that's the case, I highly recommend that you go with the aqua or turquoise crosshair color versus the yellow. Now, I personally prefer the yellow. It does blend in at times, but I don't necessarily like a super prominent, distracting crosshair in the foreground. I like to be able to look past my sight, just like I would with a real firearm. I like to look past my sight to the target, and the yellow works good for me in that regard. Aim assist I have enabled. Now, aim assist is weird in PUBG. It doesn't even feel like it's there. Now, many of you guys have said, oh, I can't aim like you. The aim assist doesn't help me at all, especially on the long shots, guys, because when you shoot long on somebody, when I'm shooting snipers across the map or crossbows, it is not possible to have aim assist help you out because you have to lead those shots. You're putting your crosshair off the target in order to land those shots. So the only real assisting that the aim assist does is like super close range fights inside, say, 15 to 20 meters. I've noticed a little bit of assist with it smoothly going to the target, but those are situations I rarely find myself anyways. But I figure I'll leave it on. It doesn't hurt me at all to have the aim assist on, so I definitely recommend it. Healing prompt, that's pretty much the default enable. I just left it on, set enable, kind of let you know when you need to heal. Gyroscope is a big debate, guys. I have mine disabled, and that is personally because I don't like the stress that it puts on my hands holding a device, right? I am holding a device, and when the gyroscope is always on, that means that as you tilt your device, like say you're holding it like this, if I tilt it this way, that's gonna move the crosshair to the left. If I tilt it this way, that moves the crosshair to the right. If I tilt it this way, you go down, up, etc. So it's basically a replacement or a enhancement to the right joystick, the one that you can't see, where your thumb is on the screen or your finger, whatever you use for your controls. The gyroscope is the tilt, basically the angle of your phone. It will make that gyroscope move in a certain direction, which the key thing here is that it helps you aim and move at the same time, because rather than using your right thumb to actually aim, which you would normally have to do, you can use your right thumb or your right finger to shoot rather than aim and use the tilt of your device to aim. So if you can get used to it, I highly recommend that you go with gyroscope scope on. Personally, for me, I play enough games and I don't have a problem with my aim as of yet, that I have it disabled, and I'm using just raw aim on my end using the cursor. I try my best to move and aim as much as possible, but like I said, if you can play with the gyroscope, I highly recommend that everybody at least gives it a chance. Put it on, see what you think, play like 5 or 6 games with it. You'll get the idea pretty quick of what it does. It's just a matter of being able to tolerate it and being able to like have your fingers be able to withstand the fatigue of playing with the gyroscope on. Now, if you can manage to play with it on, it's a huge help. It's no doubt an enhancement to the basic controls. Next is peek and fire. I have mine enabled. Peek and fire is the ability to actually peek around corners, obviously, basically revealing only like your head rather than your whole body, and that is super, super helpful when you're pinned down in a building and you're trying to give your opponent a minimal target to hit while you being able to shoot him in return. All right, next up, let's go to the graphics. I am using, as I said, guys, iPhone 10. This is the most powerful smartphone on the market as far as, the internals and the ability to run stuff smoothly. So I play with everything at max settings, and it works great. That's the most common question that I get on my videos is Powerbang. What are you using for your device there? It's pretty smooth. Mine doesn't look like that. Well, iPhone 10, guys. I don't know what to tell you on, what to do on your end. Play with it. Obviously, the lower the frame rate, the smoother it will be. From a performance standpoint, the lower the graphics, the smoother it's going to be. As you bump those settings up, the more and more demanding it becomes of your device, and the clunkier and slower it may feel. I would recommend turning these as high as you possibly can before you start noticing any lag. Now, as far as style's concerned, I have it on no style. You can actually change this around to change the way the appearance of the game is. I'm going to play around with this some. I haven't honestly touched it that much. I've used the default settings. I think I'm going to change it to colorful to get some more brightness in the game. I feel like that might suit my eye a little bit nicer because I do like things a little bit more heavily saturated. Moving down to the next one. This is the big one, guys. The controls. This is what all of you guys have wanted to know about. What do I use to control? Now, I prefer the default left movement on the left side of the screen. You use the left to move, and you have a fixed fire button on the bottom right. Now, aiming is done by moving your thumb on the right-hand side of the screen. I don't like the other options, plain and simple. They're a little confusing, and I don't think that they work as well. If anything is going to be tweaked with regards to your aim, highly recommend that it be the gyroscope. Turn the gyroscope on, go with that, use the tilt of the phone in order to help yourself aim. Going further into the customization, check it out. This is where it gets a little bit crazy. I have actually fully customized my interface to work for me. Now, what you're going to see on the screen right now is a few things, and there is one downfall to this layout, and that is because of the limitation of PUBG itself to move your duo and squad health bars to another location. There is no option to move those currently, so what happens is the minimap overlaps the duo and squad health bars, so keep that in mind. If you're playing duos or squads, you may want to move the minimap down, or you may choose to run an entirely different layout. Now, one thing that I did with my guns is instead of having them down in the center, I move them up to the top right. Now, to move any of these icons, all you have to do is click them. You see, I clicked the single target fire, whatever, up on the top. I can move this gun now anywhere on the interface and leave it there. Pretty cool, right? So right there, you can see I'm able to move the size up and down, and you can actually move the transparency as well. So I'm just gonna leave it just like it was. We'll put it right back up at the top. And boom. I believe that's about good to go. So, as you can see, I moved my run icon just below that. I don't use the auto run very often, but it is there in case I need it. I chose to use the joystick most often for that. You can move the joysticks if you want. You can move the fire buttons. I personally prefer to, I use my thumb. I'm going to use the revives thing to kind of illustrate on the screen. I use about right there where the revives is now. That's where I do most of my steering. It's on the opposite side. So like my thumb, if I can show this properly, it's over here. When I move around, I'm using this area here with my thumb to move around. And when I fire, obviously I go here. Scoping in is right above the fire button. So that is kind of how I have it set up. I have jump right next to those things as well. Jump is the most commonly used key in the game as far as movement is concerned. It helps you vault through windows. It helps you jump while you're being shot at. Jumping is just very widely used, so I put that, right in the action where I could get to it very easily. Now, the grenades, these actually will appear at the bottom of your screen as well as the health. Those I like on each side of the bottom right, just kind of somewhere it's, out of the way, but they're there if I need them type of thing. Revives I have right in the center of my screen. I don't really revive people often. We like to win. As far as firing on the left-hand side, this is actually really important. I like this very close to my movement, but trying not to get it too close so I don't accidentally push it all the time. As far as peeking goes, those I've got up above where my joystick goes, out of the way, as they're not needed often, but when they are, boy, they can save your butt. Crouching and proning, you have at the bottom of the screen on the right side. And again, guys, to move all this stuff around, you can click and drag, or look at the top of the screen, you can click the location and actually bump that up. You can see it moving up. I can move it back down. That is how all of that works. Really pretty easy. And if you like a certain configuration with your buttons, all you got to do is click save. There are actually multiple schemes. There is your default right here. This is kind of what it looks like as the default interface for the game. This is not bad at all. I just preferred it to be a little bit different. I wanted less stuff in the middle of my screen, more stuff off to the top right. And the way my thumb sits, I wanted more above this fire button here, so I could be able to quickly zoom in and whatnot. I feel like this is a matter of millimeters as far as controlling stuff. So what you're going to see is some tweaks, just like that. You're going to see some tweaks that kind of, it doesn't look all that great. You see my reload button is actually very similarly placed. Where can I, here, let me move this out of the way. There's my reload button. And there she goes. Okay, so I've got my reload, I've got my grenades, everything's placed, and what you're gonna do now is click save and exit, and you're done. That's how the settings work, guys. Vehicles, there are 3 different settings. All of them I find fairly bad. But the least bad of the vehicle settings are, number 1, the default, the button controls. Hold down the arrow forward and backward if you want to go forward or backward. Left or right takes you left or right. Fairly easy to use. I really don't understand why they don't just use the same as you would running around. Like, why wouldn't they use the same joystick to drive the car and the right stick to point the car in the direction that you are using with your right thumb? It makes no sense to me why they wouldn't do that. Rules of survival, that's how driving is. If you want to look around with your head, use the freaking eyeball that's built into the interface. That's what it is there for, is for you to be able to look around with your head, turning it on a swivel. So stick with the default option for the car. It's the best. Here is the sensitivities, guys. Overall, I have a medium sensitivity set with no scope, 100%, pretty much the default. Red dot and holographic, we are sitting at 50%. My 2x aim point scope, we've got a 30%. Let's see, 4x 14%, and 8x you've got 10% sensitivity. So those are the sensitivities. Feel free to screenshot that, copy it if you want. But these sensitivities right here are basically what I'm using to pop those heads all the way across the map. Looking at pickup, I have the auto pickup disabled. I want to control my own inventory, nobody else, right? I want my own control of the inventory. As far as collapsing the pickup and disabling the auto pickup, I want that enabled because I don't want clutter on my screen if I happen to be camping on top of loot in a firefight. If I'm sitting in a room and I'm in a corner and I'm on top of, say, some, I don't know, let's see, a stock for a Uzi, right? I don't want to have that on my screen in the way while I'm trying to fight a guy that's getting into my building, right? It blocks your field of view. No need for it. Collapse it down. You can do that by enabling this option. Next is the audio. I have everything cranked to max. Really kind of basic there. I want to be able to hear as well as possible. And if I want to turn something down, I do it on my actual headset or my, my peripherals, my Bluetooth or my phone. I don't do it in game. Max everything in game and then control it separately elsewhere. The only thing I might recommend is the music, turning that down or something. But the thing is, the music's only during pregame, so who really cares? I kind of like to hear that. It gets me pumped up, so I leave it at max. Next up is the language. Obviously, pick what language you speak. So there's the settings, guys. That is kind of going through everything. I don't think I've left anything out. You just got to play what you are comfortable with and, get used to it. All right, guys, so those are the heavily requested Powerbang settings. Feel free to use them. Feel free to screenshot the layouts and all that good stuff. Copy the sensitivities. Doesn't matter to me at all. Hopefully it helps you. I'm going to be dropping into this game on this brand new colorful overlay, which I really can't tell much difference. Maybe it looks a little bit greener, a little bit more saturated, but not bad. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get another chicken dinner right now to match the first one at the end. But until next time, guys, this is Powerbang signing out. Make sure you subscribe for more PUBG tips and tricks. I'll catch you next time.